you can see we have 3 separate production cells and in a pond that encompasses 1.5 hectares of area and 2 meters deep, so 30,000 cubic meters of water. These production cells right here, each one will hold 220 cubic meters of water, which allows us to produce almost 33 metric tons at the highest biomass of tilapia if we chose to do so.
Let's look at the strengthening immunity through nutrition. So what do? Well, we've mentioned most of these things through this talk. The importance of amino acids, dietary protein plus amino acid additives. Amino acids like tryptophan, branched chain amino acids, which are very important in cellular immune response.
Problems associated with the extruder barrel sometimes comes from the distance or the wear between the screws and the surface of the barrel. So this gap, basically it's considered to be time to replace the screws when this gap gets to be 2.5 times the original tolerance.
But it gives an idea of scale. So a certain amount of cages for nursery, for broodstock, for on-growing, but also a shore base with a jetty, with hatchery, nursery, processing, offices, food store, feeding systems. So how much money is required to set up a farm at this scale?
We heard it many times. In today's business, the only constant is change. To keep up with today's business demand and thrive, companies need to continually upgrade the way they go about doing things, implement new technologies, and truly help their employees learn new skills, learn legacy practices, and keep investing in their employees' professional development. One of the must-do for sustaining growth in today's business environment is providing continuous employee learning. People need to learn new knowledge or skill in order to see things in a new light and take on a new challenge. When organizations do not support a continual process of learning, innovation does not happen. Processes remain unchanged, and nothing new is ever accomplished. However, there are businesses that they do this and they do it very well, and they benefit from it. Businesses and companies that they embrace comprehensive training programs, they do see a benefit in terms of higher profit margins because of higher income per employee. There is a lesson to learn from these companies that do it well. The way these companies are able to harvest the benefit from their training efforts is because they have made learning and training as part of their culture. Is what they do day in, day out. They have aligned their training with short-term and long-term goals. So there is a greater reason as to why they go about training their staff. They put a lot of energy behind structuring their training programs, typically by working with external training houses. And finally, they aim to make their training fun and rewarding for the attendees. Be part of this group of companies and benefit from learning by harvesting these simple guidelines. Let's also take a quick look at how a training should look like. When we are putting training together, we need to ensure that it is relevant. It is relevant to our business, but also relevant to our audience, the people we will be training. The best way to approach that is by including theories to back up what we are learning, but also include practical examples and experience from the industry for the industry. We need to aim to make our training consistent, repeatable, and applied. In other words, we need to make sure that always we deliver the same message to all the audience that will be utilizing the training. And above all, it needs to be accessible and engaging, as we highlighted before. During the last decade, and based on these elements and principles, our team has been in the forefront of training and development, and we have been helping our industry professionals to build knowledge capacity in the areas that matter the most to them and their companies. More specifically, around commercial soft skills, such as sales, leadership, and marketing, and technical skills, who some of you may be knowing us by the AgriSchool training courses. Originally, the AgriSchools or the AgriSchool workshops have been delivered to our industry in a physical form. And most recently, we have been converting a lot of the physical AgriSchools we have been delivering to a virtual form. Both of them, both forms will remain and are relevant to the industry today. If we take a quick look at the future of training and development, the need for that will always remain. The way we go about delivering it may change. We are expecting to see a lot more mix of both methods, physical and virtual methods. And we expect both methods to complement each other and improve the effectiveness of us delivering that training. There are a lot of reasons behind it, but categorically 6 of these reasons will determine how we go about delivering training in the future. Firstly, we found out that online training actually helps us to build more solid knowledge foundations, for the simple reason that the online training is consistent and is repeatable. And whenever we visit back any training we choose to take, it will be the same learnings, the same topics, in the same sequence. Also, because of that, we can control the quality of that training. It's all pre-recorded most of the time, hence it's auditable. We can explore it, change it, adopt it, and deliver something that is always of high quality, which also makes it repeatable and resource effective. We found out that since we launched the online AgriSchools, we had a lot more uptake of students or professionals that they wanted to learn the last couple of years. But we also discovered along the way that by delivering the majority of our training through online platforms, we are actually helping the world become a better place by minimizing the impact we have on the environment. During the remaining time we have together today, we will take a look at some of the aquaculture related courses we have been working on and the industry has been widely utilizing at a worldwide basis. More specifically, Progressus aquaculture related AgriSchools offer the means to the industry, professionals, and companies that are striving to make learning and development part of their culture through 4 short courses: the aqua feed production and milling short course, the in-pond raceway system short course, the aqua nutrition short course, and the marine fish offshore pen aquaculture short course. We have done the hard work, so you don't have to. To review these 4 AgriSchool short courses, what they include and how they can potentially benefit you, we have enlisted the assistance of key industry experts that have significantly contributed towards the learning modules delivered through each one of them. Let us now go into a series of interviews with these renowned experts, starting first with Lucas Manomaitis. In this first interview with Lucas, we will hear his view and opinion regarding, first, the need for us to keep learning and the best way to go about doing it, and thereafter, his comments and views about the inbound raceway systems and the IPRS AgriSchool. Joining in the IPRS discussion after Lucas will also be Skip Kemp. Enjoy. Lucas, you have been with us since the early days of the AgriSchool journey. More specifically, you helped us by contributing material, physical support, and above all, you helped us to spread the word around the industry when we had the courses ready. How do you see the industry benefiting from the AgriSchool short courses that we offer?
So one of the reasons why I was so excited about the AgriSchool is that there was a real need for a commercial training organization in Southeast Asia in particular. Now, I know that you work globally, but I was really I'm based out of Southeast Asia, and my client at the time, USEC, was literally looking for ways to transition away from us doing a lot of basic training and moving into other fields. And so we call this declaring success and then moving on. So if a commercial company would take on certain aspects of what we were trying to do and take over, from, basic intermediate training, then we could focus in on where we really wanted to be, which is advanced training. And so the AgriSchool concept to us seemed like a great idea, and to me personally, because there really wasn't a commercial training course provider that we could touch on to actually get those kind of courses made for us. And it wasn't just available in industry. And so the AgriSchool concept seemed to fit that space perfectly. And so we're very excited about that initiative. And it's turned out to be very beneficial for us, since the time that it started.
Well, and we very much thank you for that. And thank you for working so hard with us and along with us to deliver these important AgriSchools to the industry. Which, by the way, I would like to also ask the question, who do you think will benefit the most by attending the aqua-related short courses we offer under Progressus AgriSchools?
Right. So for us, there's primarily 4 of the AgriSchools that we're looking at for what I was working for aquaculture. For us, we were doing a lot of work through USEC on advanced formulation practices, but what we found is a real need to have people to get a good grounding and intermediate level training in aquaculture nutrition. So the aquaculture nutrition course from the AgriSchools and from Progressus filled that need perfectly. So what it did is that when we met with people that said, hey, I'm interested in working with you on these advanced processes for the International Aquaculture Feed Formulation Database, we look at what their experience was, is, well, you don't really have the correct experience. You need a bit more training. You need to have that expertise to actually benefit from these advanced approaches. Why don't you first take the AgriSchool and then get that training and then come back to us after you finish that? And then when we're trying to bring in new areas into the fold, so to speak, for example, Myanmar, there they had a lot of need that just was not being met by the local industry. The schools didn't have the experience, and so this essentially was a college or university level course that they could take, a short course they could take that would really bring them up to speed very rapidly. And so I think that held true across also the feed milling. Now we have the IPRS, and we're looking forward in the future the marine pen aquaculture course as well. And all these things allow us to, allow the industry to benefit from the knowledge and the experience of others without having to attend, a 4-year university course or 2 university course, or going away somewhere very far, particularly now that you guys moved on to online and virtual experiences or hybrid experiences as well. I think this will be very valuable as we move forward.
Thank you for that, Lucas. And I think, as you rightly said, the key here is being short, being practical, and really relate to the practitioners in the industry in different countries around the world. So I believe we managed to accomplish that, together with actually creating a solid knowledge base that is made up of must-know topics on every subject matter we cover. And I believe that's one of our biggest accomplishments here. At the end of the day, it's all about delivering to our learners all that is important on a topic. in a consistent and repeatable manner, every time, every day, from anywhere. No surprises, no omissions, and no contradictions. Why is this important to have accomplished, Lucas, in your view?
I think that's simple. It's consistency. We need to be sure that we're going to get a consistent product and consistent training for the people we send to these kind of things. And whether it's through USEC or other organizations that are sending to the agri-schools, I think they all want the same thing. They want to be sure that when they send them to them, they don't have to review each time the material to make sure that it's going to be suitable. They're going to know the quality is there from the very beginning, and just be sure that when they send someone to these short courses, they're going to get a valuable experience that's going to help them in the commercial sphere. I mean, this is not training for training's sake per se. From my perspective, this is training for commercial application, and that's probably the most important thing. Hey, governments have lots of money, and government extension agents are very good, but in the end, it's really commercial industry that moves the needle on pretty much anything. So we need to make sure that these kind of training courses actually meet the needs of commercial operators and commercial application. And I think the agri-schools do a good job of doing that.
Lucas, thank you for sharing your thoughts and impression about how the industry could benefit from what we do. At Progressus, we stay true to our mission and remain fully committed to delivering training that aids commercial application. And above all, it helps the industry and the people that work within it to progress. If you could stay with us for a few more minutes, Lucas, I would like to discuss with you a bit about the in-pond raceway system technology and the IPRS AgriSchool short course. But before we go into the smaller details, I would like to ask you a wider question. And this is, how do you see IPRS technology benefiting our work?
So in terms of benefiting our world, one of the things that's very important about the in-pond raceway system, or IPRS technology, is it allows the current farmers that are using traditional pond farming techniques to up their game. I mean, essentially, this is what we're looking at, is getting more management control and better yields out of the same water volume. It's an important aspect, particularly in Asia. In China, they definitely don't have any area to expand to. In fact, their area of culture is decreasing. So they need to get more out of the same volume of water that they have available. And Asia in general is a very, very full place. There's not a lot of space to expand, per se, for aquaculture. And so if we can actually help people that are currently farming out of ponds to move to a technology that provides them a more reliable, consistent, and higher yielding approach, that would be very valuable to the industry. And I think that's what IPRS actually offers. And in that it's almost like you can schedule things in terms of how you use this technology. You can schedule how you want to adjust your harvesting. You can use the same pond to harvest over a period of time without having to drain it. You get to have much more management control because all the fish are contained in one location, meaning that you don't have to harvest all at once. You can harvest partially if you need to. So there's a lot of benefits to this, and I think that the industry has found that, and that's why organizations such as the U.S. Soybean Export Council has been so excited about promoting this worldwide, not just in Asia.
Absolutely, and it's definitely a technology that it looks into helping us to utilize natural resources in a better way, in a more sustainable way, which I think it is a hot topic this decade. Lucas, what do you think is going to happen if somebody actually takes on IPRS and it gets into the IPRS farming without that investing time to understand the basic principles and the concept of the whole overall, the holistic concept of IPRS before we actually initiate this work?
Well, we already had that experience. Through my work with my client, the U.S. Soybean Export Council, we saw this happen in Southeast Asia in particular. We decided to do a slow rollout of the IPRS technology throughout Southeast Asia, and we started with Vietnam. And what happened was that people were very excited about the technology. They saw maybe a promotional video or something, and they said, "Oh, I can do this." We went out and did it, and then it failed. And the reason it failed is because they didn't understand the principles, they didn't understand the standards of what needs to be done. And so, to sort of answer your question directly, typically what we saw is that people who did not get training in advance were failing. That's kind of the idea of having good training program to ensure that you have the right base understanding. And also for us, if I'm working with them, I don't have to go through the basics. We can talk at a higher level if they've already had that training.
And absolutely agree with you. But it brings me to another point, though. I'm sure that if somebody gets onto the World Wide Web and he searches IPRS, he will or she will come across a lot of information. I'm sure it's there, and I'm sure it's very accessible. Why would somebody not do that and choose to come to the IPRS school?
I think the very simplest answer to this is you get what you pay for. You got it for free. I'm not going to guarantee your results from that. I'm not saying that there's not valuable resources out there for free. What I'm saying here is that, one of the reasons that USEC approached Progressus to create an agri-school for IPRS is the fact that we needed a comprehensive approach that really in a very stepwise manner would go through the process of what it takes to do IPRS correctly.
Lucas, thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to seeing a lot more IPRS farms happening here in Asia and worldwide.
Me as well. Thank you.
I would now like to welcome Skip Kemp into the discussion. Recently, you were charged with auditing the IPRS AgriSchool short course. And importantly, you have gone through its learning modules in great depth. What is your impression about the quality and practical applicability of the information provided through the AgriSchool course?
Hi, Yanis. Yes, I was able to go through the entire course on the online AgriSchool for IPRS. And it was obvious that someone put a lot of time into preparing the presentations with the proper information for someone who is thinking about the IPRS. So I was impressed with the quality of the talks, which I'll mention in a minute. But I also was impressed with the quantity of information that's available there. There's 8 lessons and another question and answer period. There is about 40 some video presentations, and there's a lot of information that is available for download that you can keep after the course is over and refer to while you're planning and getting ready to start up. But the quality of the material was from very experienced people who have spent a lot of time working on this. Some of them more than 25 years have gone into developing this system. So anyway, the information was very thorough, a very thorough coverage of the principles and the planning concepts. So what about the quality, a little more about the quality, it is building up from the start. You get a good overview of the system from a drone actually that flies over and looks at it, and then a little more close up with some video of the actual system. And then it drops back and goes more into the basics of the principles. So telling you exactly what it is, exactly how it works, and then building on that to build your knowledge so that you can eventually make a decision, as Lucas was saying, whether it's right for you or not. So the information that's given, the material information, was starting with the planning and the balancing to know if your pond is big enough and how many raceways that you could have, going into the construction, as even the details about the construction, so that you don't make mistakes. The starting up, how to get started with that versus a traditional system, and then operating and managing the system, which shows how different it is from another traditional farm. But one of the things I thought was most helpful of someone thinking about this is the troubleshooting or what not to do. So as Lucas said about the mistakes that were made, you'll be learning from those mistakes that were made by someone else that didn't follow the principles right from the start. But basically it's a very, very comprehensive information intensive course so that you can grow fish and make more money.
Thank you for that, Skip. And once again, thank you for your valuable contribution to the industry, to the course itself, the IPRS course, and of course, for investing your time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it, and it's a pleasure working with you.
Let us now turn our attention to the work we have been doing around warm water fish and crustacean nutrition. More specifically, the Aqua Nutrition AgriSchool. Dr. Thomas, thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. I put a lot of work into this, and I really want to help you to explain it well to our participants or potential participants.
And we very much value that. Thomas, there is no doubt over the years you have been a person that has contributed significantly to the betterment of aquaculture industry, and specifically towards the field of aqua nutrition. What would you say are some of the common difficulties one finds in the field of formulating aquatic feeds?
Well, probably for me, the biggest difficulty, which I've tried to address, is simply the fact that unlike poultry or swine or livestock, we have dozens and dozens of species, and our information, nutritional information, is scattered, and it's not concise, it's not condensed, and it's not integrated, and it's very difficult to get all of this information. And so that's really the main thing. And then, of course, because we're so small compared with poultry and the other industries, the places that you go to find the experts who can tell you what you need to know are very hard to find, and they're mostly in Western countries, and that's something that, you know, we just can't go and study somewhere else. So we wanted to bring this information to our participants.
Great. And how would you say this is reflected in the teachings and technical material provided through the Aqua Nutrition AgriSchool?
Well, you know, I'm coming at this with 30 years of experience, and having been a feed formulator, having worked in industry, I really understand the problems that formulators have when they're trying to formulate for a species and the information is not in the books. And so what we really want to do was to provide the information gradually over 50 plus videos, where you begin to get the details, but it's in a way that fills in a lot of the gaps that you might otherwise have difficulty with. From the perspective of myself, which is when I was doing this, when I started out, what problems did I have? So I try to provide you also with my practical experience to bridge over these difficulties that I know we have in our profession.
Absolutely. And I think we did talk a lot about what do we do and how it's done. Just briefly, what one will expect to learn by going through this short course on aqua nutrition?
Well, we start out, you know, with a brief introduction, and then we go and look at fish nutrition and then shrimp nutrition. And then we start to address topics that help you to understand, you know, if you're reading a book or a nutrient book or a nutrition textbook, or you're reading a scientific paper, a lot of the background information you need to know to be able to read that and learn something. And then we cover many topics basically over and over again. And each time we cover it again, we fill in a little bit more detail. And so the general overview through this 55 plus videos that we have is that you're going to, if you follow through all of those, you're going to have a very good basic information about fish nutrition and shrimp nutrition.
Thank you for that, Thomas. And finally, of course, we are digital, and we have a worldwide reach through our platform. And what do we do? More specifically, though, which geographical locations around the world would you say will benefit the most out of attending our course?
Well, I think that we're really focusing on the regions of the world like Asia. There's a lot of places in Asia, South Asia, Middle East, Africa, and maybe even a number of countries in South America and even in Central America that are where aquaculture is growing and it's booming, and we need to make feeds to support these developing industries. And so then this is the place where the fish nutritionists have the most, let's say, work to do, but they have the least access to information. And so that's really the target that I would like to see reach out and enroll in this class.
Thank you, Thomas, for the insightful comments around the course and for sharing all the information with us. Joining us now is Joe Kearns. Joe and I and a few other industry experts have been involved in delivering the online aqua feed school for some time now. What would you say are the highlights from this journey, Joe?
Well, number one, it's been an honor to be invited to do this. And upon review of what you guys do with regards to flour milling, livestock feeds, all kind of nutritional topics, and including the online aqua feed milling school, it's been most interesting to get involved. Why? Well, one, I've made a lot of friends around the world, and it just seems logical to share experiences from my career with the industry to educate them on things that they may see and want to know about. Obviously, we have a lot of speakers, and the fact that every machine out there in this industry has been advancing, we get to hear about all the new developments. But sometimes it's good to see where we came from so that you can see how these advantages can really be associated to your production in terms of more profit or wider range of production or any other aspects that you may be interested in. So that's my take on it. It's been fun to share with everybody and learn what's going on out there with regards to the equipment and the ingredients, the new ingredients, and everything that relates to the aquatic feed industry.
And for sure, sharing is not an easy thing to do, and not many people are willing to do it. So we do thank you for that, Joe. You've been a veteran in the industry, and over the years, you have helped design, commission aquatic feed mills all around the world. How much of this experience you have gained over the years is actually reflected through the topics you deliver through the online feed school?
Well, obviously, we are some of all of our experiences. And I can tell you, I started cleaning the floor drain in the factory at the Winger Technical Center. So from the location of where floor drains ought to be, to how you ought to set the equipment up and give space for maintenance, as well as all the things that have changed over the years to improve the production of feeds, the type of feeds, floating, sinking, slow sinking, neutrally buoyant, all aspects of the extrusion cooker, the drying, the coating, how ingredients need to be prepared to go to these devices, both extrusion and pelleting. It's just a full range of interactions over the whole course of a career, seeing all the potential things that can go wrong in the industry, and then basically being in a position to help solve those issues, give instructions on what they may have done or could do to improve what they're doing, eliminate bottlenecks, and make the most money. That's the goal of feed production, is to make a good quality feed, sanitary conditions, and show a profit at the end of the day. So that's basically the idea here, is to do that.
Fantastic. Joe, once again, thank you so much for being part of this work we do on helping the aquatic feed industry produce better feeds. It's a great honor to work with you, and it's a great pleasure to have you as part of the program.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and you're most welcome.
We will now move on to the final set of interviews with Patrick White and Sean Pinlan, both whom we will be discussing the topic of marine cage aquaculture and their experience and journey with us while pulling together the newest of AgriSchool short courses, the Marine Pen Aquaculture AgriSchool. Patrick, there is a question I really wanted to ask you, and this is around how could potentially marine cage or pen aquaculture, as we call it, can benefit our work? And most importantly, why should our industry take a serious look into this production method?
Well, that's a good question. Aquaculture is already quite established and growing rapidly. And but most of the production at the moment is in freshwater ponds. And it's difficult to expand further and intensify because freshwater is a limited resource, and there are many industries and people wanting freshwater. So it's not an area for future growth, whereas marine aquaculture is in an area with a lot more seawater available than freshwater. And there's less conflict because it's out at sea. It's not on the land where people can see it or are bothered by it. It's further out to sea. So it has huge potential, particularly for countries with a long coastline, such as Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam. And so it is and will be the future for fish production. Fisheries is being reduced every year. Population is increasing every year, and food will need to be produced efficiently to feed growing numbers. And aquaculture is growing rapidly, and fish pen culture is also well established, particularly Norway, Chile, Scotland, Mediterranean. But it is less well developed in Southeast Asia. And this is an opportunity for Southeast Asia to maximize their resources through marine aquaculture.
Well said here. And I think you touch on two very important points here. One is sustainable food production and sufficient food production to feed the world. Secondly, is really around the environmental impact of production systems and how aquaculture in general can actually help us to meet those environmental goals we are setting for ourselves on a daily basis. Right. Patrick, another question here for you. Marine cage or pen aquaculture is not really something completely new. We've been doing it now for a few years, the right way or the wrong way, but we've been working with it for a lot of years now, right? I'm sure that if somebody gets onto the World Wide Web and looks for information on marine cage aquaculture, they will find a lot of it, yeah, and a lot of recommendations. Why would someone be better off coming through the Marine Pen Aquaculture AgriSchool short course to receive information rather than relying on the information we are getting or we can extract from the World Wide Web?
Yes, there is a lot of information available on the web, but it's variable quality and may not cover the exact information that you're looking for. There's a lot of scientific literature giving specific data on biology or feed formulation, so quite detailed information about very small parts of the industry. But this course brings together a complete picture of what is fish pen production, and it is being presented and collated by professionals who are in the industry and have seen the weaknesses and the opportunities, and hopefully can pass on their knowledge to the students so that they're not making mistakes which could be avoided.
Sean, you are a part of the development team of the Marine Pen AgriSchool short course. Can you briefly share with us what does this short course cover?
Well, the short course actually covered a wide range of short pen aquaculture topics that we have the profession actually from the different region to cover the topics. For example, from the hatchery, and then for the environmental assessment evaluation, offshore cage system, and the supportive equipment or system for the offshore and aquaculture operation. We also have the feed, nutrition, and the feeding management. In addition, we have the person talk about the fish health management, disease control, and the harvest and processing method. Besides that, we also have the offshore pen farming economics to be able to explain what is the cost, the structure of establishing a offshore cage farm. And then at the last, we have the fish marketing, the content to be able to instruct the attendants that besides culture of fish, how you sell your fish and then target the right market for your benefit.
Oh, that's definitely a wide range of topics here that we are covering, but most importantly, those topics are actually dealt with in great depth, which brings me to my second question, Sean, here for you. Where is all this information coming from?
Well, we invite the professionals from the industry, and for the industry, basically the person we invite who are all have the actual practice, working experience in the industry, in the farm. And then they are taking their experience accumulated. Besides the information, they also will involve their experience of the working on the offshore cage industry and be able to provide you, besides the normal information, that also their insight that when you want to do the offshore cage aquaculture, how you gonna toward to the right way and avoid the mistakes they make before. So this gonna be a very, very valuable information to you. And those are the people we invite from the industry for the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean, and also Patrick for your valuable inputs. And I'm sure our audience are looking forward to seeing the finished product. Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to further your knowledge and industry understanding, but you do not want to commit to a full-time study or spend hours researching for information, or even wanting to avoid an unstructured approach to learning, the Progressus AgriSchools may be your answer. Developed by experienced industry professionals, some of whom we heard from today, the AgriSchool courses cover a wide range of technical topics and are designed to help you learn and refresh specific industry skills in a way that suits your lifestyle. As we are closing up, let's hear from a couple of professionals that had the opportunity to take on a course or two through the AgriSchools.
I joined the aquaculture nutrition online, or this. I think this is a great learning program. By attending this aquaculture nutrition online course, I get the opportunity not only to update knowledge, but also to refresh my knowledge as well as my experience. The training is covering various species, can be accessed anytime and anywhere. It's so flexible. Yeah, precision to a Progressus for being able to deliver the virtual training, especially during the pandemic situation, which makes us, or especially me, never stop learning. Thank you.
It was very instructive, all the course from the Aquafeed production school, the online AgriSchool training workshops. There was a wide diversity of attendees. They were all specialized in in the topics and the production of aqua feed, whether for shrimp or for fish. It was very great to have people specialized and going into details of the different topics and the different aspect of the feed form of the feed production. People here at Nutrima are very satisfied. Thanks.
I think this course is really useful for aquafeed nutrition work, especially young nutritionists, because the basic content is quite complete and has important key concerns that can be applied. Thank you for having the opportunity to join this course.
Before we go today, we will also like to present you with an offer not to be missed. As a token of our appreciation for choosing to invest your time with us today, we would like to invite you to take part in our Progressus AgriSchool Lucky Draw. To do so, you can simply scan the QR code you see on your screen now. This will take you in our Lucky Draw participation site where you can just sign up for it. Winners of the Lucky Draw will be announced this coming Monday on the same site, and they will also be notified in person by one of our trusted team members. Good luck to all that choose to participate. And yes, if you have a friend that will also like to test their luck, they are most welcome to do so. Just extend them the same link. Thank you for investing your time with us today, and keep learning.
You can see we have 3 separate production cells and in a pond that encompasses 1.5 hectares of area and 2 meters deep, so 30,000 cubic meters of water. These production cells right here, each one will hold 220 cubic meters of water, which allows us to produce almost 33 metric tons at the highest biomass of tilapia if we chose to do so.
Let's look at the strengthening immunity through nutrition. So what do? Well, we've mentioned most of these things through this talk. The importance of amino acids, dietary protein plus amino acid additives. Amino acids like tryptophan, branched chain amino acids, which are very important in cellular immune response.
Problems associated with the extruder barrel sometimes comes from the distance or the wear between the screws and the surface of the barrel. So this gap, basically, it's considered to be time to replace the screws when this gap gets to be 2.5 times the original tolerance.
But it gives an idea of scale. So a certain amount of cages for nursery, for broodstock, for on-growing, but also a shore base with a jetty, with hatchery, nursery, processing, offices, food store, feeding systems. So how much money is required to set up a farm at this scale?
Well, I hope that everybody enjoyed that short discussion we had here today. And again, thank you so much for choosing to invest your time with us. I hope we brought you something, we learned something together today. And above all, we heard the different the opinions of the experts in the industry, especially in the aquatic industry, about the importance of training. We are sitting here and we are looking in front of us to a few questions that we would like to help answer. The first question there I see from the chat, it was directed to one of our colleagues, Sega Chai. So just to introduce to everybody, this is a Progressus team. On my left-hand side is Sutiat, or you can call him Meg, is in charge of marketing activities we have in the company. And on my right-hand side is Sega Chai, or you can call him Lak. is in charge of business development on a worldwide basis. So that's the team we are with you today. So Lak, first question to you. I think it was a question in relation to, do we need another Zoom meeting? How can you respond to that?
It seems like we have a lot of Zoom meeting today, right? Thank you, Yanis. So hello, everyone. Selamat siang. I'm Mr. Gachai from Progressus. I'm with Mr. Yanis to develop the project at Progressus. And this question might come from Mr. David. Thank you, David. It's a good question anyway. So here you asked about too many Zoom meetings and too many online events. Do we really need another one, right? It should be a nice question. So the short answer is no, right? We do not need any more Zoom meetings and Zoom events. The sheer volume of Zoom meetings, events, and conferences differ from what we do as professional training course at Progressus AgriSchools. So for example, it's like we say, we don't need to read Harvard Business Review article or a poetry science journal because we are reading the newspaper every day, right? So training and skilling, at least skilling ourselves, should be activities that each and every one of us pursue and do regularly or do it every day. After all, the one is want to develop and want to progress in life and to take the lead to do so, right? No one else will do this for you. It's gonna be your mindset. You need to develop yourself and keep developing yourself. It's not your job, right? It's a way of life. It's a living. You need to do it every day. You need to build up and reskilling your knowledge every single day, right? So this, if you want, it's a mindset. It's regularly, right? Hope this helped, David. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Egachai. That's a lot of passion there, but that's it. We believe on what we do. So thank you. There is another question here. It relates to how much does it cost? And I'll take that. I like cost questions. Look, guys, the biggest investment in these courses is your time. Is the time that you are dedicating to learn. And typically one of the courses we have, to attend one of the courses we have, it may take you 20, 30, 40 hours, depending on which course it is. So that's a lot of material out there, guys. There's a lot of information, but for a good reason. It covers, we try to cover everything is possible to cover about the topic and deliver to you the learning experience you deserve. As far as the mandatory cost goes, how much does it cost? Look, I think it's academic. At the end of the day, we are talking about your development, your career, and your advancement in the industry. However, I would like to answer your question. Cost of such a courses, it ranges from $300 to $480 US dollars. It's very transparent. You can visit our website there and you will see each one of the courses have their own fee. Look at it at your own time, but our commitment remains always the same. Keep it as affordable as possible and follow our mission, that is to deliver quality and bias education to the industry. So I hope that question was answered. Because we're running short of time, I'm just going through the questions here a little bit faster. The second question third question we have here is how can I get an overview of the various trainings you have? And I will pass that to my colleague, Sutia, to answer.
Of course, and yeah, my name is Sutia here. Hope you enjoy the session, this session here. And thank you for the question. That is a great question. So how you can get the overview of the training that we have. And so first thing, sure you can. And so please connect to us for more information. We'd be more than happy to walk you through the different courses we have. And on top of that, we can also, go into details on what is your need for the training. We can work on, the different mix and match between courses that we have that will be matching your need for your internal organization or for your clients. For more information, please connect us or look up for more information in our website, www.agrischoolswiths.com, or you can connect us through our social media, our Facebook, AgriSchool. Looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you, Meg, or Sutiet. Finally, there is one last question I see here in the board anyway. Apart from technical training, do you do anything else? Right. How much time do you have? Yes, we do. The short answer, we do. Obviously, today we had limited time and we focused on the activities and training we have around the aqua industry. We do have a range of training courses for the livestock industry as well, including feed mills, not only production. And we also reach all the way to pet milling and pet nutrition. So there is a lot of technical courses there. And as I mentioned before, our mission is to continue to help the industry develop and educate. So we are building courses as we go along, and watch this space. There is a lot more to come early next year as well. But back to the question. Yes, we do a lot more than just technical courses. Our flagship product actually is sales training for animal health and nutrition companies. So companies, they market or sell products to the industry. We have a range of courses there where we deal with creating needs, supporting the industry, responding to customer requirements, all the way as to how we manage a sales team. So the leadership aspect of it. Lots there. All of our work is revolving around the livestock and aqua industry, but we do provide for technical and commercial skills training. Happy to discuss this with you, and I'm sure my team also feels the same at any time you want on a privately manner. For now, I think that's all the questions we have. I don't see anything else. I'm not sure if the organizers have any more questions there. If not, again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Progressus AgriSchools, the team, Sutiet, Egachai, myself, thank you for attending today. Thank you for investing your time with us. And do please take part on the lucky draw. Looking forward to seeing you as winners. Thank you for now.
Thank you.
Bye.